I think businesses, of course, find it very difficult to survive in this economy. We have, that huge outcry about the advent of Walmart. I could see this as an inevitability, but the trade unions, everybody else complained. It's much the same in the townships. Once ShopRite and the bigger retailers moved into certain townships, they killed a large number of small businesses, of spaza shops. Now, this happens everywhere. It's part and parcel of the system. I'm not making a moral judgment. What I'm saying is this is what is happening.
Sure.
We're in a situation now, we have labor laws which actually protect workers to a degree. We don't have much enforcement. Loane is wrong about that. One of the problems in this country now is a lack of enforcement of existing labor laws.
All right, because I would like us then, if we say this is happening all over the world, this is happening as a result of the recession and so on, I would like us then to zoom into that and say, for instance, Loane Sharp says this has been happening over the past 5 years. Let's see what has happened in this economy over the last past 5 years. The recession was in 2008. We lost a number of jobs, in fact, about 1 million jobs. But since then, there's been a steady recovery in this economy. So if there's a recovery in this economy of one sort or the other, would we or should we be expecting the 440,000 businesses to close? Is that not abnormal that when there is a recovery of one sort or the other, but small businesses are still closing?
Well, in the first place, I don't accept the 440,000. I think we don't really know. I mean, one of the things that Adcorp goes on about is informal business and what they even refer to as the underground economy. The reason it's underground is because we don't know what's going on there. They use some fairly crude methods of currency calculation, which is being called crude by most of the academic economists. So we don't know. But what we do know is that there is a major problem. And we recognize that problem. I mean, it's huge, it's global. And no matter how you massage the statistics, the levels of unemployment, not just here but around the world, are serious.
Okay.
To talk about the growth in the economy, Kolani, how do you calculate growth? We have had a growing economy. We've had 3% for, going back a few years. But we've still had job losses. So the economy, because you calculate that in terms of your GDP, etc., can grow, and you can still have unemployment. You can have a growth in unemployment running alongside a growth in the economy.
Okay. All right.
Hello.
Loane, you wanted to say something. I'm going to come to you in a second, Carl.
I see that Terry's an unrepentant lunatic.
What does that mean, though?
No,
because I wouldn't want us to make it personal. I wouldn't want us to digress. I would like us to stick with.
He once called some work that we'd done lunacy, and we called him in return a lunatic. But that was all good and well. Look, this dispute about Adcorp statistics must come to an end. The data that we used on small business startups and the number of small businesses in operation comes from two sources, Statistics South Africa and the Business Trust. There is no question that these are the best available statistics in the country. What we do as Adcorp every time we release our Adcorp Employment Index every month is we produce a piece of analysis of interest to the labour market. The idea, Terry's armchair journalism, where, we have a vested interest. I mean, what is the vested interest of a labour broker in unemployment? I mean, a labour broker, if they had a vested interest, would want to see growing employment. So I think Terry's involved in the most casual observation of the worst kind.
All right, let me read one or two emails, then I'm going to go to you, Carl. There's Chris Kenny, for instance. Chris Kenny has sent an email, Chris Kenny Mokone, who says, I run a small print media advertising agency, and my observation for the past 5 years has been the following. 1, banks. They do not assign people with knowledge of the industry for which they need the financial support. This creates problems due to their lack of understanding. Banks limit their assessments to what they see on paper, whereas there's a need to meet the business owners and understand what they actually do. Government officials tend to be personal in processing payments to small businesses. That is, they pay a small 200,000 rand, they compare that with what they earn and start to frustrate transactions, etc. 3, racism. When you run a small black company, you present your business... Wait. Oh, there's another email that's come through now. And right in the middle. Okay. It says, when you run a small black company, you present your business case to a potential client from a negative scale and are already viewed with skepticism, meaning any business technical glitch is likely to take you under. Chris Kenny Mugone. A couple of Facebook posts. Unions have a mandate of cramping the development of our economy with their tendency of not enlightening their illiterate members on the basis of capitalism. Whilst the corporate giants will always get first preference in procuring lucrative deals, but the mindset of our black people is far from primitive than is imaginable. Letabo says it's getting harder to do business in South Africa. Small businesses, especially at start, have enough issues but are being battered by regulation. Carl?
Well, let me first put Terry and Loane behind me and say something about SASMEF. SASMEF, South African Small and Medium Enterprise Federation, is looking very clearly at that in response to the president who says, partner with us. And the president has asked us to partner because there are jobs lost. Now, whether it's 400,000 or 40,000, multiply by 3, you have 3 people unemployed, 3 families unemployed. So Terry and Loane can do their advertising, but elsewhere. Well, we've got a huge problem here. People are suffering. Poverty is rife. And SASMEF says the one reason why, the one structural reason why, is nobody, government, big business, NEDLAC, they're all talking amongst themselves, but nobody is talking to small business. Everybody's designing solutions, everybody's diagnosing solutions, but nobody is talking to the patient who has to recover. And this is where SASMEF says we are one voice for small business. And Trevor Manuel's National Planning Commission has now come out very clearly and said, come and show us and give us examples and plan with us. And SASMEF wants to join that. But Trevor has also said in his diagnostic report that the civil service is weak. Then we get the big business, just like your correspondents have said. They talk about economic development, but they've got no idea how to talk to small businesses. I've got one example which is connected to ShopRite. A buyer sees many small businesses, and a young man came in and he said, produce candles. And she said to him, man, I can't take your product because it's not up to standard. But let me take you to my warehouse, she said. She's from ShopRite. I'll show you all the candles. And he went and he looked, and they discussed it. And he went back and he improved his product. And he came back. And she's now taking his candles. Woolworths has 6 people. They send a little BCom or B social science ED person to interview the 6 new small businesses out there. The person can't make up its mind because it's not within its job description. So 6 small businesses leave, and Woolworths is the loser. South Africa is the loser. So let's drop this nonsense of Adcorp versus Terry and let's think about the people who are unemployed.
Why are people not talking to small businesses? Is it because they don't know where they are to be found?
That's one thing. Mr. Mohoto of DTI, in speaking to the National Province, the National Council of Provinces, says very clearly, and I think Terry says, we've got no proper information. We really have no proper information.
But what about all these units that government has, like Small Development Agency or any? I mean, there's a whole lot of them.
They're not penetrating because they're designed, A, by academics, B, they're given to civil servants who have no understanding of the economic environment. They all got beautiful degrees in theory. None of them have been in a business. And then in our own government, we got the National Small Business Advisory Council, who's absolutely lame. That council has its secretariat within DTI. DTI is capacity low. At multiple levels of the word capacity. And so we have not even seen an annual report come out from the National Small Business Advisory Council.
All right. Let me get a quick comment from Loane and Terry, and then I'll take the news headlines.
Is it too early to talk solutions in the program?
We will certainly start that straight after the news headlines. Do you have anything in mind, though?
I have what I think is a perfectly good homegrown solution. If you're familiar with Mohammed Yunus's Grameen Bank
Yeah.
in India,
Yeah.
where basically little cooperatives of people get together, they save, they borrow little amounts of money with the express purpose of starting a small business in their community. In South Africa, we already have such a network in the form of the stokvels. I heard the other day the most staggering statistics. Stokvels in South Africa have 830,000 members. They have 44 billion rands worth of assets under management. This is according to the Stokvels Association. There's a perfect opportunity for stokvels which currently help you save toward your school fees, children's school fees, save toward a funeral, and so on. There's a perfect opportunity for stokvels to start small business initiatives where cooperation between the stokvel members, advice from the senior stokvel members, the participation and use of money instead of bank loans, and then the peer pressure to get those businesses going.